Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Bruno Villas and today I'm going to tell you another story. If you're new here and haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to not miss notifications. Because that way, every time I post a new video, YouTube will notify you and you can rush here to watch with me. I also want to invite you to follow me on social media, because there I'm always interacting with you and also posting content, different from what's here on YouTube. But now let's get to what matters and let's dive into today's case. This is another one of those cases, folks, of children being victims of cruel and hypocritical adults. And I say this because on the day of the trial, the accused put on a complete show. They made a bizarre scene, which made headlines in newspapers, with the widest circulation around the world. It really seems that children around the world are always in danger when they are placed in the company of unbalanced and reckless adults. But this case, folks, starts way back, and I will explain everything to you about how all of this happened. Serenity Richardson was born on June 16, 2006 in the city of Detroit, in the state of Michigan in the United States. She was the daughter of Leisha Richardson, and there is no precise information regarding the girl's father. Leisha had a childhood best friend named Eric May Butt, who was even close with her at the hospital and held her hand on the day her daughter was born. Serenity was a very sweet, communicative, and quite curious child. Her neighbors and acquaintances said in interviews that the girl was an angel, and the cruelty that happened to her was inhumane, and no judicial penalty could make up for this event. Lexia and Erica had been very close friends since childhood, as I just told you. In fact, Lexia was the only person who found out directly from Erica herself that she had been assaulted when she was 15 years old. Lexia advised her friend to seek help from the authorities, but Erica preferred to stay quiet about it, and this secret brought the girls even closer, greatly strengthening the friendship between the two. So much so that the two remained great friends throughout their adolescence, and this affection also continued when they were already adults. Lesha then became pregnant and had all the support of her friend, and a few months after the birth of Serenity, her godmother Erica moved to Somerville in South Carolina. It turns out that these two cities are in states quite far from each other. To give you a rough idea, I did some route simulations, and if the traveler chooses to go by car, the distance between the two cities is approximately 13 hours of driving without breaks, which is more than 800 kilometers between Detroit and Somerville. There is also the option to make the journey by plane with a duration of approximately 2 hours of flight, taking into account a direct flight, therefore without any connections. Due to the distance, the friends started to meet much less frequently and alternated between Leisha traveling to South Carolina and Erica traveling to Michigan. Well, in the last week of October in the year 2009, when Serenity was 3 years old, her mother Leisha and her best friend Erica thought that it would be a good idea to leave the little girl at her godmother's house for 2 weeks. Erica got along very well with the girl and vice versa. The two spent a lot of time reading books, watching cartoons, and eating donuts. For little Serenity, it was always a celebration when she traveled to visit Aunt Erica, and she also made a fuss when she found out that Erica was coming to visit them. Erica dated a few women for short periods of time, until she met a woman who would change her life forever. This woman was named Shanita Latrice Cunningham, and she was the same age as Erica. At first, as always, their relationship seemed like a bed of roses, very calm and full of peace. But as time went by, it became evident that this relationship started to become toxic and abusive. As I was saying, in October 2009, Alexia decided that it would be nice to leave her daughter with Aunt Erica for 2 weeks. At this point, it should be clarified that Erica, who was 23 years old at the time, lived with her girlfriend Zanita, also 23 years old. By this time, the two had a rather turbulent relationship full of love and hate. Those very toxic relationships where both parties are always fighting, offending each other, and then reconciling. And making vows of eternal love, exactly that style. So the two indeed had a relationship just like that. Very complicated. And Alexia later said that she didn't imagine how the relationship between her friend Erica and her girlfriend Zanita was. She mentioned that every time she spoke with Erica, her childhood friend always defended her girlfriend, saying that all couples have their ups and downs, and in all relationships where there is love, people end up fighting and having misunderstandings, but the important thing was the reconciliation, and then the two would be fine. Erica always said that love overcomes everything. Because of this, Alexa did not feel uncomfortable leaving the child at the house. After all, Erica assured her that everything was under control, and since they were best friends for a long time, there was no reason for distrust. In fact, that same week she had spoken with Zanita, who assured that the two were fine and everything was in perfect harmony. With that, Lixia finally left her little one at Aunt Erica's house and spoke with both of them by phone daily. Everything was going well until on November 3rd, 2009, Erica called her, mother desperately pleading for help. She nervously said that Serenity was not waking up. The girl had fainted and was not responding. Erica also mentioned that she and her girlfriend Shanita had put bleach under the girl's nose, but even so, she did not react. They also put ice on the little girl's body in the hope that she would wake up. But the girl simply did not move. Folks, I do not recommend this type of procedure to anyone, okay? I know there are many people who believe in these things, but in emergency situations, the best thing to do is to quickly call the authorities, the fire department, the ambulance to get immediate help. Especially because inhaling bleach poses various health risks. So the best thing is to call emergency services and let the paramedics do their job. And that's exactly what Erica's mother did. She called emergency services, which arrived at the girl's house quickly. And that's when suspicions began. When the doctors arrived, it was determined that the girl had already been deceased for some time. The girl was sent to the medical examiner and the police began interrogating the two. It turned out that they were giving conflicting explanations, and this was making the police increasingly suspicious. Erica said that the girl had lost her balance and fallen down some stairs, which is why she had some bruises on her body. Meanwhile, Shanita continued to say that the backyard was a very dangerous place for a child of only 3 years old. In short, nothing they said added up, so much so that there was a very large bruise on the girl's head, and Shanita justified it by saying that the girl was sitting in a chair and fell backward, hitting her head. The paramedics took the girl to the Somerville Medical Center, where she was officially declared dead at 8 o'clock in the evening. It turns out that the doctors and nurses at the hospital found many other various cuts and bruises on Serenity's chest, abdomen, legs, arms, feet, and back. When it was ready, the police report also stated that there was a burn mark on the little girl's right leg. The autopsy was conducted by a forensic doctor from the University of South Carolina who determined that the cause of death was trauma all over the body from blunt force. Well, in the meantime, the little girl's mother arrived and spoke with Erica. She was very shaken and tearfully told her friend to forgive her because she didn't know that it would kill her. Despite this statement not making any sense, Leisha initially believed that a horrible accident had happened. But this whole story took a turn when Erica was taken to give her official statement and ended up confessing what had really happened. Erica stated that Zanita didn't like children very much. Of course, this statement was later contested by Zanita herself, who defended herself by claiming she never had problems with children. The fact is that the day before, Serenity was playing and making a lot of mess, which is normal for any child, right folks? And then she felt the need to go to the bathroom, but she wasn't used to that house. Her aunt's house didn't have the same layout as her mother's house. So she ended up getting confused with the rooms and wasted a few minutes with this mistake. The result was that she couldn't make it to the toilet. She didn't have time and she ended up urinating right there on the floor where she was. This small incident was enough for the two to slightly mistreat the girl. According to the prosecutor's report, one of the women took a belt and the other a clothes hanger, and together they beat the girl. Of course, just that single attack wouldn't be enough to end the way it did, right, folks? In fact, I think everyone here who is a bit older can remember a beating they got from their father or mother, or from some relative when they were children. But what was determined to have caused Serenity's death were the beatings that followed. The two women, Erica and Shanita, came to believe that the only way to keep the girl quiet was by using the belt and hanger against her. Well, I personally think they were evil and were enjoying it, because it's not possible that they spent all that time beating the girl. It doesn't make much sense, folks. Erica claimed in her defense that she didn't know it could end like that. She didn't know that the beatings could kill the child. As expected, this case gained a lot of visibility and triggered a great public outrage. Both had their preventive detention simply and clearly ordered and pleaded guilty of the crime in August 2011. Erica Butches filed an offered plea, which means she maintains her innocence, but she acknowledges that taking her case to trial would likely result in a conviction. This usually happens when the accused insists they are innocent, but there is strong evidence against them, which would easily convince the jury that they are guilty. If the case goes to trial and the jury returns with a guilty verdict, the jury can recommend the death penalty to the judge. So, to prevent this case from reaching the jury's hands and risking being sentenced to a much harsher penalty, the accused may resort to an offered plea. On the other hand, Zenita Kunigan pleaded guilty to the charge immediately. In November 2011, basically 2 years later, after Serenity's death, both appeared at the criminal court in Charleston, South Carolina. The Charleston court was the scene of a very bizarre moment when both fainted and then cried uncontrollably upon literally hearing their sentence for the murder of Serenity that happened in 2009 when the girl was only 3 years old. Both were sentenced to life imprisonment, and both Erica and Shanita had to be lifted off the floor by court staff and returned to their seats while paramedics were called. Erica cried out, saying she was responsible for some things, but that she would never kill her best friend's daughter. She turned to Leisha and said she would love her forever, no matter what happens, and that she was very sorry. During the hearing, Shanita's lawyer stated that his client was much less guilty than Erica. Meanwhile, Erica's lawyer argued that she was a victim of a toxic and abusive relationship and witnessed Zenita assaulting the girl, but she couldn't defend her. And this is exactly where I want you to tell me what you think about this case. Could it be that both of them assaulted the girl together? Or is it true that Erica was telling the truth and she only witnessed her girlfriend committing this horrible act? But if she were, folks, telling the truth, the least she should have done was to defend the child, or called the police, or even called the girl's mother and picked her up, right? Another thing that doesn't make much sense is that to the authorities, 2 years earlier, she had admitted that one of them used a belt and the other a hanger. In other words, she admitted that both were responsible for the assaults. Could it be that at that moment she tried to take the blame along with her girlfriend so she wouldn't have to face it alone? Or did she later regret it and change her story, saying that she didn't join anything? Tell me what you think about this. I will leave in a pinned comment some other cases similar to this one. And you will be sure along with me, I think many of you already know, right, that humans can be very malicious when they want to be. Well, folks, that was today's case. If you stayed with me until now, don't forget to leave your like. It really motivates me to continue bringing this type of content here for you. I'll stop here and see you in the next video.